Ever wondered where you'd go if things got really bad? We're here to guide you through the process of setting up a bug-out location, your lifeline in times of crisis. This isn't about building an extravagant bunker or buying an isolated island. It's about finding a safe, secluded spot outside the city, in the bush, mountains, or forest, which you can slowly transform into a shelter. The importance of a bug-out location cannot be overstated. In times of unprecedented emergencies, whether they are man-made or natural, having a safe place to escape to can be the difference between life and death. It's not just about surviving the initial crisis, but also about having a place where you can sustain yourself and your loved ones for an extended period. Imagine a scenario where you're forced to evacuate your home. The city is in chaos, resources are scarce, and every minute counts. Without a pre-planned bug-out location, you're left with two options: either join the panicked masses or take your chances in the unknown wilderness. Neither of these choices offers much hope for survival. On the other hand, having a well-prepared bug-out location provides you with a clear direction and a sense of control amidst the chaos. It's a place where you've already assessed the resources and risks, a place where you have prepared for shelter, food, and water. It's a place where you can defend yourself and stay hidden from potential threats. But let's be clear, setting up a bug-out location is not a weekend project. It requires careful planning, time, and effort. It involves scouting for the perfect spot, assessing resources, setting up a temporary camp, and learning how to live off the land. And above all, it requires patience and persistence. So as we delve into this guide, remember, it's not just about finding a spot to hide, it's about creating a haven, a place where you can not just survive, but also live when the world around you is falling apart. Remember, a well-chosen bug-out location can be the difference between life and death. Finding a good bug-out location starts with scouting. Let's dive into the key factors you need to consider. Scouting is the first step in discovering your retreat. You're not just looking for a pretty view here, you're looking for survival. So where do you start? Think dense woods, rock formations, or other natural shelters. These are your best friends when it comes to concealment and protection from the elements. The more secluded, the better. Not only do these natural formations offer cover, but they can also serve as a barrier against harsh weather and unwelcome guests. Now you might be asking, what makes a location ideal for a long-term stay? Well, there are a few things you should keep in mind. First, consider the terrain. Is it easily accessible? Can you get to it quickly in an emergency? If it's at the top of a steep hill or across a treacherous river, it might not be your best option. Next, look at the resources the area has to offer. Are there trees for firewood? Is there a water source nearby? Can you forage for food? These are critical elements to consider. Remember, you're looking for a spot that can sustain you for an extended period. But it's not just about what a location has to offer, it's also about what it doesn't have. Avoid areas prone to natural disasters like floods or wildfires, and steer clear of high-traffic trails. The last thing you want is to be discovered by others. Lastly, pay attention to the wildlife. While it's beneficial to have hunting opportunities, you don't want to set up camp on a bear's doorstep. Look for signs of large predators and avoid those areas. Choosing the right location is crucial. You want a place that's hidden, safe, and protected from the elements. Remember, the key here is to blend in, not stand out. In our next segment, we'll talk about how to assess resources and risks in your chosen location. Stay tuned, and remember, the best survival tool is a well-prepared mind. Once you've found a potential spot, it's time to evaluate its resources and risks. This is where the real work begins. Your survival depends not just on finding a secluded spot, but on how well it can sustain you and protect you from potential dangers. Firstly, let's talk about resources. Water is the lifeblood of survival. Is there a stream or a river nearby, or perhaps a lake or a pond? The closer the water source, the less energy you'll expend collecting it. If water is scarce, consider the rainfall in the area and how you might capture and store it for later use. Next, consider your food sources. Are there fish in that river? Can you spot any fruit trees, berry bushes, or edible plants? Remember, the more food sources available, the less you'll need to rely on your stockpiles. Also, look for an abundant supply of firewood. You'll need it for warmth, cooking, and possibly for creating signals. Now let's talk about the risks. Pay attention to signs of wildlife. While spotting a deer might mean a potential food source, evidence of bears or wolves indicates a risk that might outweigh the benefits. Avoid setting up camp on their established paths or near their food sources. Consider the weather and the seasons. Is the area prone to flooding? Are there any large dead trees that could fall on your shelter in a storm? And remember, A location that's idyllic in summer could be a frozen wasteland in winter. Finally, consider your exposure. Is the area too open, making you visible to others? Or is it so dense that it would be difficult to spot danger approaching? Striking the right balance is key. Assessing resources and risks might seem like a lot of work, but remember, when the chips are down, this knowledge could be the difference between life and death. Remember, a good bug-out location is rich in resources and low in risks. So take your time, evaluate carefully, and make sure your survival retreat is a place where you can weather any storm that comes your way. Now that you've found your spot, let's talk about setting up a temporary camp. There's an art to this, and it begins with the basics. First, you'll want to construct a lean-to shelter. This is a simple structure that leans against something sturdy, like a tree or rock face. Use sturdy branches as your main supports, and layer smaller branches and foliage for the roof. The goal here is to create a space that's just large enough for you to sleep in and keep you protected from the elements. When it comes to insulation, nature has you covered. Literally, dry leaves, moss, and even grass can serve as excellent insulation materials. Pile these inside your shelter to create a cozy, warm bed. Remember to replace your natural bedding regularly to keep it dry and comfortable. But we're not just setting up camp, we're setting up a hidden camp. The key to staying unnoticed is to blend in with your surroundings. Avoid altering the landscape drastically or leaving obvious signs of human activity. Instead, use natural features to your advantage. For instance, setting up your camp in the shadow of a large rock formation can help it blend into the background. Keep your camp tidy and compact. Scatter any leftover branches or foliage to make your site look as natural as possible. It's also a good idea to keep your fire small and smokeless to avoid attracting unwanted attention. You can do this by using dry wood and controlling the amount of oxygen your fire gets. Remember, your camp is your home base. It's your refuge in a time of chaos. It's a place where you can rest, regroup, and plan your next move. So give it the care and thought it deserves. A well-set camp can provide you with much-needed shelter and security, but it's only a part of your survival strategy. Stay tuned as we delve into how to utilize abandoned structures, practice sustainability, and maintain stealth and security in your bug-out location. Because in the end, survival isn't just about braving the storm, it's about outsmarting it. Sometimes survival is about making the best use of what's already there. So let's talk about a survival goldmine. Abandoned structures. You might stumble upon an old shed, a dilapidated barn, or even a forgotten cabin in the woods. These places, ignored and left to the elements, can be turned into secure and livable retreats with some creativity and elbow grease. Now, before you start moving in, take a moment to assess the structure. Does it provide enough shelter from the elements? Is the roof intact, or will it need repairs? Are there any signs of wildlife that may have claimed this place as their own? These are crucial factors to consider before you invest time and energy into your newfound home. Next, think about fortification. You want your bug-out location to be secure, right? Start by reinforcing any weak points. This could be a rotting door that needs to be replaced, broken windows that need boarding up, or holes in the walls that need patching. Remember, this is your fortress against the world, and you want it to be as sturdy as possible. Now, let's talk about camouflage. You don't want your shelter to scream, "Someone's living here," to every passerby. Use what nature provides to blend your structure into its surroundings. Vines, branches, leaves, even mud can be used to make your hideout inconspicuous. The goal is to make it look like just another part of the landscape. Inside the structure, organize your space efficiently. Designate areas for sleeping, cooking, and storing supplies. If possible, create a hidden storage area for your most valuable items. You never know when you might have unwelcome visitors. Lastly, always have an escape plan. In case of a threat, you should have at least 2 exits and a hidden path to escape undetected. Remember, your safety is paramount. With a little work, an abandoned structure can turn into a perfect bug-out location. It's about seeing the potential in what others have discarded and using it to your advantage. In the game of survival, the resourceful always have the upper hand. For a bug-out location to be truly effective, it needs to be sustainable. This principle is the heart and soul of your survival strategy. To thrive in your chosen hideaway, you must master sustainable practices that not only prolong your stay, but also enhance your quality of life. One such practice is rainwater harvesting. In a survival scenario, access to clean water is paramount. By setting up a simple rain catchment system, you can collect and store water for drinking, cooking, and hygiene. This can be as simple as positioning a tarp or plastic sheet to funnel rainwater into a container, or as complex as installing gutters on an abandoned structure to direct water into a large storage barrel. Next, consider harnessing the power of the sun. Solar panels are a valuable asset for off-grid living. They can power essential devices, like radios for communication, or charge batteries for flashlights and other tools. Even a small, portable solar panel can make a significant difference in your ability to stay informed and function effectively in your bug-out location. But sustainability isn't just about resources, it's also about security. Establishing a secure perimeter is crucial to your safety and peace of mind. This could mean setting up natural barriers like thorny bushes or fallen trees to deter unwanted visitors, or using fishing lines and bells as a simple alert system. These measures will not only help to keep you safe, but also provide a sense of ownership and control over your environment. Finally, consider how you can sustain yourself beyond immediate needs. This could include planting a small garden if the season and location permit, or setting up snares and traps to catch small game. Remember, survival is a long-term game, and the more self-reliant you are, the better your chances. Remember, it's not just about surviving, but thriving in your chosen bug-out location. With these sustainable practices in place, you'll be well equipped to do just that. In a survival situation, staying hidden can be just as important as staying alive. This is the essence of security and stealth when it comes to your bug-out location, and it is not something to be taken lightly. Now let's talk about the art of staying invisible. Your goal is to minimize your visibility and noise. This means keeping your campsite low profile, avoiding unnecessary movements, and keeping noise to an absolute minimum. This might sound like a challenge, but with a bit of practice, it becomes second nature. Remember, the less you disrupt the environment around you, the less likely you are to draw unwanted attention. Next, let's discuss the importance of masking your scent. This might sound strange, but in a survival situation, even the smallest details can make a difference. The scent of cooking food or even human odor can attract unwanted visitors, both animal and human. Using unscented soaps, limiting cooking during daylight hours, and keeping your campsite clean can help disguise your presence. Now, using the terrain to your advantage is a tactical decision that can provide a significant boost to your security. You want to choose a location that offers natural concealment, such as dense foliage, rock formations, or even a hillside. These natural features can hide your campsite from prying eyes, and also provide a strategic advantage in case of a confrontation. Another key aspect of stealth is leaving no trace. This means concealing any signs of your presence, such as footprints or campfire ashes. The idea is to blend in with your surroundings so well that anyone passing by would never even know you were there. Finally, remember that the best security measures are proactive, not reactive. Regularly patrol your perimeter, keep an eye out for changes in the environment, and always have a contingency plan. Being prepared is the best way to ensure your safety. Your bug-out location should be a place where you can stay safe, hidden, and ready for anything. With these techniques for security and stealth, you can not only survive but thrive in any survival situation. Setting up a bug-out location is a critical step in being prepared for any emergency. We've walked you through the process from finding the perfect spot tucked away from the hustle and bustle, assessing the resources and risks of your chosen location, to setting up a makeshift camp with what you have on hand. We explored the potential of repurposing abandoned structures, turning them into secure bases. We delved into sustainable practices from rainwater harvesting to setting up solar panels, ensuring your survival goes beyond just the immediate future. And lastly, we looked into maintaining security and stealth, blending in with the surroundings and avoiding detection. The path towards preparedness is not a sprint, but a marathon. It's about being ready, staying vigilant, and always refining your survival game plan. Stay prepared, stay safe, and remember, the best survival tool is a well-prepared mind. If this guide helped you, hit like, subscribe, and share your experiences in the comments below.